Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Weddings Unscripted. We are so glad to be here and so glad that it's almost the holiday season. It's like
Yay.
really close.
I felt like being festive.
Yes, Ginny has her, we both have we're going with the red lips today. We're getting in the wintry holiday spirit.
That's right.
Yes, so we are on episode 4, and today we're going to be talking about discounts, but specifically around the idea of discounting for referrals. And we actually got an interesting question in the group a couple of months ago in our Facebook group, Wedding Business Bosses. If you're not a member, make sure that you are, because we like to pull these types of questions to talk about more in depth on here. And so if you ever have a question, who knows, maybe we'll chat about it on a future episode.
Or we're going to have a whole episode about your question.
So make sure you're in there and asking good questions. But Julia in our group asked a couple of months ago, "Hi, planner bosses. A sister of a past bride of mine is now engaged and wants to hire me for full wedding planning. This part is great. However, she is asking me to consider discounting my package price for her by $1,500 or 20% since she's the sister of a past bride. And her sister consistently sends me referrals that end up booking. I work very hard on all my weddings and even more so on my full planning weddings since the couples are not involved as much. I don't feel that I need to give any kind of friends and family discount, even though she and I have somewhat of a relationship built already. I would love to hear your thoughts. And also, what would be a gentle but firm way for me to word my response so that she understands I'm worth my value and don't discount my planning fee, but don't run the potential of having her walk away."
Ooh,
so
that's a good question.
I don't know if you've ever gotten asked. I mean, it's interesting to me when people actually come straight out and ask for a friends and family discount. I mean,
yeah.
First
and
of all,
she was very specific. She's like,
yeah.
I want $1,500.
I want 20% off.
So, I mean, first of all, I got to give her props for, reaching out.
Going for it.
You're just going for it. Because I'm a firm believer. If you don't ask, you don't receive.
This is true. I feel like I tend to I'm not good at asking in that way for stuff like that. Because I think coming from my obsession with pricing, I always know that that's immediately cutting into someone's bottom line. I feel bad almost being I don't want to make, but who knows? You're right. Sometimes maybe you just got to ask. You never know. The worst that can happen is someone says no, which we're going to talk about. But
to answer that question is no, you don't have to discount your prices. And there are ways that you can actually show your value. And there are ways you can actually respond to keep the client. And a lot of times when I've seen this happen, clients have actually almost respected and valued you more. That's true. Because you're not devaluing yourself. Obviously she wants to save the $1,500, but you have to keep in mind, you already have that know, like, and trust factor built in with this client because you already did a wonderful job with her sister's wedding to the point that her sister has already sent you client after client after client and now another client. So she kind of already has it in her mind that she really, really wants to work with you. So keep that in mind first and foremost, and don't feel like you have the potential, your back's up against the wall. If I don't give her the 20% off, that she's going to walk away, because that's probably not going to happen in this case specifically. But definitely it could happen in other cases, but we're going to talk a little bit about how you can save the client and keep your 20% in your pocket.
Yes. And I think that's, I don't know, I'm just thinking about times that I've ever been asked for discounts. I don't know if you've got any off the top of your head, Ginny, where you kind of remember being in that position and what that feels like. But it's tough because I've had people ask me for kind of referral-based discounts for the pricing workbook before. I haven't had it so much on my wedding services. I don't really remember kind of anyone coming to me and being because I'm referring you, can you give this person a discount? But at the same time, it's, at the end of the day, you want people to refer you because they love you, not because there's a financial gain in it for them. And I feel like it just starts to set this dangerous precedent of are you really referring me because, you really think I'm a great fit for your friend or your family member, or are you just referring you because you want to line your own pocket?
Right. And you think I'm the better deal,
Right.
That's where you blur the line of booking ideal clients and booking non-ideal clients. So this would definitely teeter on that line. If she's going to really value you, then she really falls on that side of your ideal client. But if she's going to walk away over $1,500 and a 20%, now granted, everybody has a budget, so I'm not negating the fact that, you know, it could just be realistic that she just cannot afford your services, and it may come down to that. But, you know, in order to keep your ideal client in place, then you really should, I mean, you know, it's up to you ultimately, but I feel like you don't need to devalue your packages. And as Kristin and I, you know, we've had many conversations about this, of course, but, you know, really just keeping it real. You know, this is, you know, I've priced my packages in such a way because of XYZ, and that XYZ could be, this is, you know, the amount that I need to run my business. You know, a lot of people tend to think that wedding planners or the wedding industry is just so overly priced in general, but they don't realize like the hundreds of hours. And this is where you get into talking about the value that you provide, the unique client experience. Talk to them a little bit more about what you're going to offer, the in-person meetings that you're going to have, the fact that you're going to do those venue walkthroughs with people, that full service experience. You know, this is where you can really point out those extra mile pieces that set you apart from the competition, to where they're seeing everything that they're getting versus the $1,500 that they want to be saving. They're seeing way more than that 20%, $1,500 back in that value in that investment. So
exactly. It almost like by someone asking you that for this referral discount, it gives you an opportunity to sell and to basically say, no, I don't, but here's why I'm worth it. Here's why I'm great. These are the things that set me apart and, you know, make me worth the price that I charge. It's just kind of opening the door for you to be able to really drive home what those things are for this person. And they might be like, actually, you know what, you're right. You have a lot of great things to offer. And, you know, I'm going to tell my friend they should book you anyway. Hopefully that's the best case outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as far as, you know, showing that customer appreciation to your former client, gifting her, if she's someone that is constantly referring you business, you know, keep gifting that girl.
Gifts are huge. I think it doesn't have to be this.
Take care of her, you know, in thoughtful ways. You know, where's her favorite places to shop? Where's her favorite restaurants that her and her new husband love to eat at? You know, curate some date nights for them and just send them their way when they least expect it. And those are small ways that you can affordably take care of past clients that are referring business. And, you know, they love you and you love them. And like Kristin said, you are being referred out of that love and that appreciation, and not out of they're going to get a kickback every time, you know, because then
it is what it is. Yeah.
It's everyone to you.
Yeah. It's basically, in essence, at that point, if you start down that road of forming sort of partnerships or telling people, if you refer me, I'll give you, or I'll give them a discount, or I'll give you money, like then it turns into almost like a business transaction with this person. And that, I think, just muddies the waters big time as to who do you work for at the end of the day, you know, at the end. And I think anytime you want to just avoid kickbacks, commissions, all of that stuff, whether it's to the client themselves, like the client's getting the discount or the referrer's getting a kickback, it just muddies the water so much. I guess it always just kind of gives me that icky feeling of like, who do you really work for? Why are you really, what is your real motivation behind what you're doing? And I think the more we can pull that out and just, like Ginny said, just get, like, definitely show your appreciation. But I think if it were me, I'd hold my bottom line and say, nope, this is why I cost what I cost. This is all the benefits you're receiving. I unfortunately can't offer discounts. I love the fact that you refer me to your friends and family. It means the absolute world to me, and I truly appreciate it. But, you know, my price is my price.
Absolutely. And, you know, just make sure that you do it in a way where you're showing that gratitude to both parts, whether it's the former bride asking on behalf of a friend, or the new bride to be is asking. You know, make sure you show that gratitude of, oh, I've planned Sarah's wedding. I'm so glad that she sent you my way. You know, I hope her and John are doing great. Da, 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 da. I loved working with them and their family and things like that. Just going that extra mile to make that personal connection and bringing that to the forefront. And that is already going to show that new bride to be, you know, wow, she's someone who really cares, who really cultivated a great relationship with former bride. And I want that same thing for me. This is the kind of wedding planner, florist, photographer, venue owner, you know, whatever your role is in the wedding industry. This is what I want. This is a relationship. Because a lot of people, you have to remember, brides to be, this is most of the time their first rodeo with planning a wedding. And you're the one that sets that client experience in place. You know, this isn't someone that is shopping at Target for the 100th time. They've already been to Target 99 times. You know, most of the time you are their first client experience in your category, whether a wedding planner or a cake baker or a makeup artist and things like that. So when you really set that bar high from the get-go, it is really hard for others to come in and compete with that, with the client experience, no matter what their prices are, no matter how cheap their prices are. I actually just kind of went through this last week because I was looking to hire a virtual assistant for my upcoming maternity leave. And I interviewed 3, and the client, and I didn't even realize it going into it, but when going into it, I had like a certain set of guidelines of things I wanted done, a price point I wanted to stay at. But when I actually got into the process, what sold me was the client experience.
So I have a question though for you on that, like with the referral and discounts, what do you think you would have felt if, because I know, you know, because we talked about like how you had gotten several of those names, or at least 1 or 2 of those names in like from referrals from other people, other business friends that you knew, if they had come to you and said, oh, let me see if I can try to get you a discount, would that have rubbed you the wrong way? Or like, would it have been weird to you if they said, oh, and I can get you money off? Or would that have suddenly made you think, are they referring this person because it's the right person for me? Or are they referring this person because now it's a business transaction?
I think I would have probably, just as a human being, initially thought, oh, let me save some money.
Right. I feel like that would be your first, yeah. Oh, I can save money. Yay.
Yeah. But again, it was when probably really thinking about it and in the process, like I said, it wasn't even, I never went into it thinking whoever gives me the best client experience, no matter what the price is, I'm going to pay for it. I was actually very surprised, and it showed me, it was such a teaching takeaway. So if any of you 3 VAs that I talked to are out there, like, thank you, because you really taught me that whether I was like really looking for that or not, it was such an impact. And now I'm even going to step up my game in my own client experience just so much more, because it was something like I've always valued, but I never really realized what an impact it actually made on my hiring decision at that point.
So see, it's not necessarily the referral that would have sold the deal for you, or you would have picked the one that gave you the referral discount. You would have picked the one that gave you the best impression. And
I did go with someone that was referred by someone, but there were no kickbacks or no discounts involved. Yeah. So it was just a good, wholesome, I think this person would be a really great fit for you. And I think
that's what people want at the end of the day, for sure. And another thing you can always do, and I say this in all, like just the larger discounting conversation is, you know, if you don't want to offer it, like you can't reduce your rates for this person that came in through a referral, you can always do something extra though. And that goes back to the client experience too. You can always tell that person, you know, I can't drop my fee 20%, unfortunately. However, here's an extra thing that if you're a photographer, how about I give them an extra hour of service on the wedding day because you are such a fabulous client. I really want to do right by that and really want to help out your friend or your sister or whoever. So let me do that for you instead.
Or an extended payment option. Because if they do really want to work with you, and it is the fact that they can't afford a 50% retainer up front. Like, I'm not saying like you need to bend your contract. Again, it's up to you. But I have had people come to me that really wanted to work with me, and instead of giving them a discount, I just offered them an extra payment installment, because to me, that doesn't really, if I'm able to help them out in their kind of financial situation, then that's what is important to me. Because at the end of the day, you know, as long as I get paid my full amount and they get delivered the work that was promised, that's, you know, what I feel matters. So I think that that's a way that you can also show. And every time I've done that, you know, it's been very selective. I'm not saying do that often, but it's been very appreciated. And I feel like people really value that relationship a little bit more, because I was willing to go the extra mile, you know, for that client. Absolutely.
So to summarize, I think both Ginny and I are the types that would say, unfortunately, I cannot offer you 20% off. I cannot reduce my fee by $1,500, because this is why I'm great. This is why it sets me apart. This is what you can expect in working with me. But, you know, as I would like to help out your friend or your sister or whoever, so maybe here's this extra thing I can do for you instead, a little bonus, a little gift for this person, to really show, you know, my appreciation to you in bringing that person to me and referring me, but also showing them that I'm really excited to possibly work with them as well. And then of course, when all is said and done, then sending the person that referred you some sort of gift, thank you item, something or other, to show the appreciation there, that like, yes, you really do appreciate them bringing you clients, even if you cannot give those clients discounts.
Absolutely. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're not in our Facebook group, like we said, be sure you're in there, and we will possibly be pulling more questions in the future for future episodes that we can discuss on here. So.
Absolutely. And don't forget to go check out weddingbusinessbosses.com.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.